What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Damian Lemar Hudson, and today we're going to do a beat breakdown on a song I produced for Rebelle Perle called Rebelle Ready. Check it out. So, I produced this song entirely on my Akai Professional MPC Live Gold Edition. I did this back in January, if I remember specifically. And I started off with this sample that I picked up from Splice right here. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. Ran that, which is here. And I recorded that at 116 BPM. And it was just a 2-bar sequence. And I go into the next sequence here, which is this kick. And if we look at it here, so it's just, and then I start incorporating this little rim shot here and this clap, and then I bring in this sample right here, and it sounds like this. Sequence. Now I'm bringing in that sample and I'm rocking with this, giving it some nice swing, some nice bounce. Yeah, and then I go into this sequence here, which is essentially taking this loop right here, and I added a frequency shifter here, the air frequency shifter, and I put it on the infinite downward spiral, which gives it this nice kind of vibe. If you hear that sound without the frequency shifter, it sounds like this. And with the frequency shifter, it sounds like this. So use your plugins, guys. Those make a big difference for you in the long run. Then we moved into this 5th sequence here, which is 4 bars, which is just that filtered out loop all by itself. The next sequence. So now we're incorporating the kick, we got the clap, we got the rim shot, we have this nice tribal feel percussion, and we also have this bad boy here going at the same time. Now notice I have these samples trigger as note on, which means in order for the samples to be played out, you have to hold it. Note on, note on. And then this one here as well. This is a 1-shot. So when it's on a 1-shot, you just press it 1 time, and it'll play the full sample out. And then this is what we got for this sequence. So already we got some nice big drums. This is a massive beat. I'm really proud of this beat. Next sequence, which is the verse. Now we got 8 bars and 116 beats. Let's hear this. Now I started twisting this bad boy. This sequence here, I opened up a plugin from Tube Synth, Sub Bass number 1, and that is track 2 here. Now if we pull up our piano roll here, we can see this bad boy. Let's find the octave. Here we are. If you didn't know, you can use your pad banks here to switch through the octaves on the piano roll. And this octave is on the D-H octave. We're just missing an L right there, but that's okay. So if we look at this on the piano roll, we got this part playing right here, which is a bass line. Now what makes this part so special to me is the automation going on. Now, if I go into my menu here and I pull up my program edit here, I'm going to see some automation here. Now let's play it back. There we go, right here. So I was editing the LP filter here. As you see, the LP filter is turning in real time there. There's a couple ways to do this. Essentially, what you want to do is look up here on your top right side of the screen. This is your automation button, and this is reading the automation going on right now. So if we click this button again, it's on write. Now, when you write the automation, essentially what that means for MPC is I would click my cue link here to where I want it. Now I'm on the second phase here, and I would press overdub and play start, and I would record it back. And as this is recording, I would twist these knobs, which will give it that sound. So I'm twisting my isolator number 2, I'm twisting the sub isolator, and I'm twisting it up and down, which gives it this really cool sound. Essentially, that takes a normal bass line and converts it into a wild bass line. Always have fun with the automation and twist your automation around. Play with your sounds and your LP filters. Twist that cutoff, twist that RESO, everything, you know. Twist it all, saturation, whatever it is, you know, can create a unique sound for you. You should be experimental with that, because I think that's a large chunk of this beat right here. It's this bass line. Now when you hear this bass line with everything else, it sounds like this. There's that. Next sequence is the drop. So we got 4 bars here. Now we're still at 116 BPM, of course. And this is when she has that wonderful moment when she exhales the smoke and we hear this. So I'm running the dancehall kit from Kai. It's dancehall kit 09, which is recommending at 90 BPM. I don't know if you ever noticed this right here, but that next number here is generally suggesting what BPM you should create the project in, because the samples are being played at that BPM. So we're here, and essentially we just took the kick out, and we're playing with this nice percussion here, and we're playing with this loop again. So it's this loop with this hat, and it sounds like this. But if you notice, once again, we have some automation going on here. When you press this by itself, it's in one tone. And I put a filter on it, or not necessarily filter, but I basically automated the tuning of it. I changed the tones, and I flipped the tone up and down, which gave it a unique sound. Puts a lot of life onto it. Also, there's a reverb, a medium reverb on that as well, as you see here, which is fun. So now we're in the full-on verse here. As you see, I did my sequences in order. This is the 9th sequence of this song, and if we look at it, now we have all of these pads going on. So you have your frequency baseline up top, you have your automation going on the sub bass on the plugin, turning up and down. You also have this pitch adjustment happening here on this hat, which gives it a very unique, lively sound. It really creates a live performance. It makes it sound like you have a live band or orchestra basically creating the music for you. And then we have our 10th sequence here, which is our real drop. And I believe for this sequence, I went ahead and created an audio track, which I'm gonna guess is one of these. These are her vocals in here as well. But let's see if we can find that audio track. Or maybe I created an audio track and I used it as a sample. There's only one way to find out. Let's see. Or you know what? That's how it originally sounded, but I later on incorporated a Tibetan bowl. And I recorded that on the mic and I dropped that in here, which is actually on the full sequence here. We're gonna get to this later. I'll show you that later, but this is the full sequence. This is where I recorded her vocals as well, but we'll keep going. So the original drop went like this, which sounded like a train passing by. And then it was essentially going to go from here to the next sequence. And now we're in the main groove, my favorite part of this whole song, which here it is. I'll give you the secret here. Now, this is the 4th track, and we have a new plugin loaded, which is in the electric plugins that Kai supplies for all of its users. And the preset is the toy Percussion. And this is the juice of this song for me. This is what makes my head nod. Now, when we break this down here and we switch the octaves, we're in a higher octave. So if you double tap your pad banks, you can get to higher octaves. Now let's see where we are here. Well, we can go back to our piano roll by pressing this, and we can find the octave that it's in. And here we are. I double tapped my A, and there might even be some lead over in D here. Yeah, the correct terminology would be we're in the D pad bank and we're in the E pad bank. You double tap to get that E. The light will change there, and there's E. So when we play that back here, we see that all of these bells were activated on the pad. I did not do this song with the keyboard. Even though you see it on the piano roll here, I did this song on the pad. I created my melody here. So I went, and then into this D here, which is, and I just kept switching that back. So in order to do that, this is the juice right here for this joint. This is all the juice. So it was. And then there's that amazing line that happens after it. That's when we start snapping on them. That's my favorite part. Eerie Halloween type sound. Uh-oh. So then we're on the bells now here on the piano roll, as you see. And the line, my favorite line, goes D pad to E pad and repeats that. D to E. D to E. D to E, and repeats. It's my favorite part of the song. Moving on to the ride, which is here. So this is like the Kanye moment of the song for me. This is when I was like, oh shit, this shit is crazy. So this is one bar, but this is my favorite bar in the whole song. I like to label the sequences chronologically so I know where I am, but I also like to label it with the feeling. And to me, this is when the joint is riding. This is when my head is going up and down and I'm bopping to it. And essentially what we did is we took the melody of the bell part from this toy percussion electric plug-in that we have here. And we added some drums to it, and we just kind of let that be. And these drums are sitting right here. I gotta change back to the sequence. You notice we're still in E on the pad bank, so if I press this again, I'll get back to my main bank. Pretty simple. Whatever the part was, but I mean, it's right there. Played it live, recorded it, and always record with your automation off. It says time corrector's on here now, but that's because I just loaded the MPC again. When you record, you want to make sure your time division is off to give it that real snap like this. And if you look out on the piano roll, it's like this. There we go. And that's essentially the song. On top of that, we added what? Go back to the verse, we bring back the bass. So, for this sequence, number 13, we got 16 bars. That's a verse. It's the last verse. And I wanted to build up some suspense. I wanted to build up some tension. So I sampled the force over here. And I ran this pad here, which sounds like this. Building up some tension, a nice swell, resonating, suspense, everything together sounds like this. And then I recorded Rebelle Perle. And I recorded Rebelle Perle directly into the MPC. And to do that, I exported the entire arrangement into one sequence. So I went here into song mode under the menu. And I took every sequence that we just went through. Sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I went back to 9 here for 11. Went to 8 there, went back to 12 and 13. I converted that all to a sequence with this button here. Converts to a sequence, convert it to sequence number 18. We don't have to do that now, but that's what I did. And I included the muted tracks, of course. And when I converted that sequence there, we wound up with this on sequence number 17. And this is also when I started to record Rebelle Perle directly into the MPC. Her vocal tracks are where? There's some, these are muted. Here's another one, here's a verse. Washington, D.C. This is how we got this bad boy.
Hey, my name is Rebelle Perle, yes sir, I have to blow my clothes, okay. Hurry, still weed in your hands, we gon' smoke, and I pass in the hell with that shit. Get your call, that's make the men go loop.
And that's how we did it. The rest is history.
Next a dance to watch me coming through. Flow so nice, my head is spinning too.
Check out Rebelle Perle, Rebelle Ready, produced by Damian Lemar Hudson, written and performed by Rebelle Perle. Tamil artist hailing from Switzerland. I had a lot of fun making that beat. I had a lot of fun making that song. I had a lot of fun recording the artist. I had a lot of fun being an engineer and a producer entirely on the MPC. I just broke it down. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed. Please, please subscribe if you already have not to the Damian Lemar Hudson YouTube page, and leave a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what other types of videos you would like to see on the MPC. This is just the first of many, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. One love. All of the above. Pew, pew.